What's up YouTube, Kristo here, and I've got a video for you. This is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while now, but I just got a bit of motivation today. There was a thread in a Facebook group that I'm part of, and people were talking about fragrances marketed to the opposite gender that you yourself enjoy, whether it be, just enjoy smelling it on someone else, or whether you actually like wearing it. And I started thinking about it and I was like, wow, there's so many that I like. I had thought about it before, but I think it was kind of then and there where I realized there were just so many. My taste is changing a lot, and now I definitely say I am a lot more open-minded about wearing or buying or sniffing or testing women's marketed fragrances. And since I've kind of overcome, perhaps my fear of them, I definitely find it to be a very arbitrary thing, labeling fragrances or not liking a fragrance because it's supposedly for women, or vice versa, supposedly for men. And to me, when I think about it, it does just seem really bizarre that there are certain things that when we smell, we're supposed to think of, think of boys or think of girls or men or women or what have you. So if you will, for example, for men's fragrances stereotypically are supposed to be dirty and musky and animalic smelling. So you're going to get notes, of course, of musk and civet, castoreum, things as well like woods and vetiver. That's kind of a stereotypical male fragrance or male notes, whereas women's fragrances, we often think of course, florals and fruity notes. As well, things like aldehyde seem to be used usually in women's fragrances, not all the time, but very often. Gourmands and sweet things usually get marketed towards women, or even the men's fragrances that are sweet or gourmand will be called girly or feminine or whatever by certain people. And yeah, even though there are certain things I don't like marketed for women, especially designer fruity florals, I just find them really boring and uninteresting, but that could be more of just the kind of homogenized women's designer market. I don't know. But so I thought I would talk about a few really great fragrances marketed for women that I think some fellas should check out. So the first one, this is Guerlain's Petite Robe Noir. I put this in the background of one of my videos recently to subconsciously get it out there. This is a candied cherry gourmand, and I think if you like gourmand fragrances, you need to check this out. I'm not overly big on gourmands, but this one is great just because I've never really smelled anything quite like before. Very, very beautiful. Check that one out. Next, this one here, it's going to be hard to pick up on my camera, but this is Montal's Dark Purple. And this actually reminds me a bit of Tom Ford's Noir de Noir, but if you take out the kind of chocolate and add some plum, it's kind of a dark, heavy, slightly medicinal, slightly fruity fragrance. I really like this. I own Noir de Noir as well, and I wear both of them quite a lot. They are different enough, but there are slight similarities. Highly recommend this. If you're into plum notes and you want something kind of dark and heavy, definitely check this one out. Okay, next, and this one's a mouthful to pronounce. This is Reminiscence Patchouli Inoubliable Elixir. And this is basically a flanker, an extreme or intense version with a classier name of the original Reminiscence Patchouli for women. Now, I don't have the actual Reminiscence for women, but I have a deodorant spray. I picked this up for an amazing price, and it's just like, wow, this is beautiful. I don't really wear it as a perfume. I usually just wear it to complement this for deodorant or any other heavy patchouli fragrances that I own. They are quite similar, but both of them are amazing, and this one more specifically. I was offered this in a swap from a woman in Europe, and I had already picked up the deodorant spray, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I jumped on it because these are hard to find even in Europe, let alone where I live. So I had to have it. Arrived in the mail, and it knocked my socks off. If you are a fan of patchouli, you have to try this. It is beautiful. I find it to be quite unisex. It's very high quality, beautiful fragrance. Next, this one here. This is from Bond Number 9. I love New York for her. Bond Number 9, definitely one of the more mainstream niche houses, and they do market a lot of their fragrances specifically towards women, or for men for that. This one here is a candied pastry gourmand, and this fragrance here actually kind of opened my eyes to pastry notes or pastry gourmand fragrances, and it's really beautiful. I picked this up for my wife kind of on the sly because I knew how much I liked it, so we both kind of wear it. She wears it a bit more than I do, but I still really, really enjoy it nonetheless. Okay, let's grab this one actually. This one here, this is Chanel number 19. This is the EDT version. I almost put this in my collab for spring 2014. And to me, this is just the absolute epitome. This is just the definition of a green fragrance. It's just fresh and leafy, a bit powdery, just so earthy and green as well. I keep wanting to say the word green to describe a green fragrance, which I know is a bit redundant. If you even look at the juice is like unmistakably green as well. This is a couple decades old, and I think really if Chanel, I don't know, they're kind of funny with gender labeling. Their entire Les Exclusive series are labeled towards women, which just baffles me, but okay, let's say this is released today by an indie house or a niche house. I think this would definitely be unisex, if not even leaning towards women, towards men's. Okay, this one here, this is Juliet Has a Gun, Lady Vengeance, and this is a niche house that actually only have women's releases, which is quite interesting. This here is by Francis Courdian, who you probably are familiar with. If not, he has made many famous fragrances, including Le Male and pretty much everything from Jean-Paul Gaultier. Now, this actually gets compared to several other creations of his, specifically Lumière Noire pour Homme and Narciso Rodriguez for Her. I'm a really big fan of both of those and this one, but I find it to be quite different. I think the reason is this has patchouli, it has rose, it has vanilla, and I believe there is some light musks in this. Whereas, Lumière Noire and Narciso for Her, they have very similar notes. The big difference, though, the very big difference is that this here has a huge shot of chemical compounds, specifically ISOE Super. And it makes this really space age and avant-garde smelling. It's very unique, very strange. Highly recommend this for gentlemen if they're into rose, vanilla, or ISOE Super. Very interesting scent there. Okay, what am I going to grab? I don't have enough time for all of these. Let's do... this is a pretty special one here. This is Jean Patou's Joy. This bottle here, I believe, dates to the mid to early 80s, but the fragrance itself is nearly 100 years old. I believe it was made in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. And this one here, I'm not overly familiar with the new formulations of it, but the one I have here is so animalic and skunky smelling that it would just, put to shame most men's marketed designer fragrances today. Comparatively so when you look at things like Le Male or 1 Million, this makes them look like, you know, a fragrance that a 6-year-old girl would wear. It makes them, you know, their testicles shrivel up and suck back up inside their body kind of thing. This stuff is so strong. It is so masculine. Just civet and leather, castoreum, just everything you can imagine, but marketed for women, which just tells you quite a lot about, you know, what fragrances meant back in the day, who they were labeled for. And I'm going to do one more, kind of running long here. This is a really special fragrance, one that I've been really obsessed with recently. This is Putain de Palaces from Etat Libre d'Orange. This is one of my new obsessions. I'm just so in love with this fragrance at the moment. It smells of sweet powder laying on top of a bed of leather. And this is actually meant to smell kind of like a dirty hooker in like a brothel. It sounds really vulgar and disgusting, but it really doesn't smell like that. It's really soft and warming and comforting, strangely fresh as well. There are notes actually of powder, just plain up powder notes, but on top of the powder you also get violet, a very powdery violet. I really, really love this. It's funny because some men really love powdery fragrances like Dior Homme Intense, and other men just hate powder notes. And I've even seen fellas in the YouTube community online as well who will sing praise for Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme, and then just complain about fragrances being too powdery, and you know, that kind of perplexes me because Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense, I love both of them, but I find them to be really, really powdery as well. If you like those, check this out, because this just takes powdery to a whole new level, just like nothing I've ever smelled. It's amazing. You almost picture powder shooting out of the sprayer when you put this on. So there you go. I really want to hear your thoughts. Girls as well, let us know what you think of some boys' fragrances that you like. Boys, let us know what you think of some girls' marketed fragrances. Definitely trying to do this, you know, just to open up people's minds, and, you know, don't worry too much about gender labeling. Smell it to decide whether you like it. Don't dismiss it before you've even gotten your nose on it. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.